Okay, so hello, good day everyone. Today we will discuss the first part of Unit 1, which is the Introduction to Physics. Okay, so these are the contents of Unit 1. We have physics and its relation to other fields, standards and units, measurement and uncertainty and significant figures, estimates and order of magnitude calculations, vectors and vector addition, components of a vector and unit vectors, and products of vectors. But for today, we will only discuss up to estimates and order of magnitude calculations. So hopefully, you will learn something. Okay, so let's start with the definition of physics. What is physics? So physics is the most fundamental physical science. And when we say physical science, it is a branch of natural science that studies non-living systems. So it is in contrast to life science, wherein life science, from the name itself, is the study of living systems. Another definition of physics is it is concerned with the basic principles of the universe. So the main goal of physics is to understand how the universe behaves. Kaya nga sinasabi nila that physics is the science of the universe and everything in it. So pag tumakbo ka, physics. Pag nakakita ka ng airplane na lumilipad, physics. Pag tumae ka, still physics. Yung pagmamahalan nyo ng jowa nyo, physics din. Pwedeng third law ni Newton, diba? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Pero syempre, joke lang yan. Pero medyo true, diba? Pero sabi sa nabasa ko, the experience of falling in love is altogether reminiscent of what in quantum physics is known as entanglement. Ano yun? Entanglement. So, ganyan. So, in the microscopic realm daw, once two particles experience a shared state, they are no longer separate entities, but rather, they exist as one. And it is true even when they are separated by a great distance. So, amazing, di ba? So, physics is really the science of everything. Okay, so there are 6 main areas of physics. We have classical mechanics. Number 2, we have relativity. So, dito famous si Albert Einstein, who is the greatest and most influential physicist of all time for developing the theory of relativity. Number 3, we have thermodynamics. Number 4, we have electromagnetism. Number 5 is optics. And number 6 is quantum mechanics. So, si Albert Einstein also made such important contributions to this area, especially to the development of the theory of quantum mechanics. So, basahin nyo na lang yung mga definitions ng each areas of physics. Okay. Next is physics and its relation to other fields. Science was known as natural philosophy. And these are some proofs that explains why tinawag na natural philosophy ang science. So in this figure, dito sa right, it is a picture of a notebook of Leonardo da Vinci, who is known for his artworks Mona Lisa and The Last Supper, di ba? Oh, by the way, bakit kaya dun sa painting ni Da Vinci walang eyebrows si Mona Lisa? So according sa nabasa ko, fashion daw kasi yun nung time nila. Fashion na yung mga kababaihan noon, they shave their facial hair including their eyebrows. But I don't know if that's true kasi according to other researches, Leonardo da Vinci originally painted eyebrows of Mona Lisa daw. But these have been gradually eroded to the point that they are no longer visible to the naked eye. So going back, so si Da Vinci daw pala, hindi lang siya great Renaissance artist, but he is also a researcher and an engineer. And in his notebooks, it contained the first references to the forces acting within a structure, which has a great relevance to architecture and building. So another person who contributed in the early physics is Luigi Galvani. So he is actually an Italian physician, biologist, philosopher, and yun nga, he is also a physicist. So he discovered that the muscles of dead frogs' legs, yung legs daw ng patay na palaka, they twitch daw when struck by an electrical spark. So yun yung experiment niya on bioelectricity that led to the discovery of electric battery and electric current. Okay. Now let's proceed to the application of physics in various fields. Okay. Sorry dun sa mga aso namin. Now let's proceed to the application of physics in various fields. So one application is if a zoologist is knowledgeable in physics, then he or she may be able to understand well or explain how prairie dogs and other animals can live underground without suffocating. Another application is if a physical therapist is aware of the principles of center of gravity and the action of forces within the human body, then he or she will do a more effective job. And also, architects may not have to calculate the dimensions of pipes in a heating system of the forces involved in a given structure to determine if it will remain standing or not. Like the one in the picture, which is a Roman aqueduct that was built 2,000 years ago na still nakatayo pa rin. Okay, so we're done with physics and its relation to other fields. Let us now proceed to our next topic, which is standards and units. So in physics, there are numbers that are used to describe a physical phenomenon quantitatively. And these are what we call as physical quantity. For example, two physical quantities that describe you are your weight and your height. And some physical quantities are so fundamental that they can define them that we can define them only by describing how to measure them. So tulad nga ng example ko, how can you define your weight and your height? By describing how to measure them, right? And such definition is called operational definition. So another two examples are measuring a distance by using a ruler and measuring time interval by using a stopwatch. Okay? In other cases, we define physical quantity by describing how to calculate it from other quantities that we can measure. So example is average speed of a moving object. So it is distance, which is measured by a ruler, for example, or a meter stick, divided by the time of travel, which can be measured by a stopwatch. Okay, so when we measure a quantity, we always compare it with some reference standard. So meaning to say, when we say that the Eiffel Tower is 300 meters tall, meaning to say it is 330 times as long as a meter stick, which is we define to be 1 meter long. So, ganun. And such a standard defines a unit of quantity. When we say unit, it is a quantity of constant magnitude which is used to measure the magnitudes of other quantities of the same manner. Example is meter. So it is a unit of distance, right? And another example is second. So it is a unit of time. So meter and second are units of quantity. So these are the quantities. And take note of this. When we use a number to describe a physical quantity, we must always specify the unit that we are using. Otherwise, pag i-describe lang natin, for example, yung height ng Eiffel Tower as 330, it wouldn't mean anything. Ano yung 330? 330 Carabaos? 330 apples? Ano kaya yun? So, kailangan nating i-specify lagi yung unit. Okay? So, to make accurate, reliable measurements, we need units of measurement that do not change and that can be duplicated by observers in various locations. And the system of units used by scientists and engineers around the world is commonly called the metric system. But since 1960, it has officially been known as International System or SI, which is abbreviation for its French name Système International. So in Appendix A of University Physics by Young and Friedman, you can see there a list of SI units as well as definitions of the most fundamental units that we can use. So, pause ko lang muna.